beautiful people. My name is Demira Virgil, and I am your host for Kweenduhm Conversations podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest with us. Her name is Cami Red. Let me read you a little bit about her bio. She is absolutely amazing. Cami Red is a multifaceted entrepreneur, wellness expert, and author dedicated to empowering women through sustainable nutrition, trauma-based emotional healing, and spiritual growth. With degrees in music, media, culinary, and nutritional sciences, she has overcome cancer, homelessness, and abusive relationships. Cami now leads Cami Red Wellness and Red Ladies Chronicle Publishing, supporting women in thriving after trauma. Her initiatives include the Dear Black Woman book and podcast and Nutrify Her program, inspiring women to embrace their health and worth, embodying her motto, healthy, healed, and whole. Today we have Cami Red. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I'm so excited to hear your story today. She'll be talking about life after trauma, ladies. This is one of my favorite topics because we can thrive after trauma. So can you tell us just a little bit about the beginning of your journey?
I don't even know where to start after you read my
Amazing bio. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I'll start where I am right now. And that's actually on the other side of trauma and talking to women about how to really live, not just thrive, but live after going through a couple of traumatic experiences. And one of the things I'm always telling people is trauma shows up in our lives in various ways. It could be from a car accident, it could be from childhood trauma. Us as Black women experience cultural and gender trauma. It could be from you working at a job, or just for like me having a medical issue such as cancer or something like that. So the important part about everything is learning how to live your life and truly live and not survive, but live your life after experiencing those things.
I agree 100%. What are some things you think is the hardest for women to get over trauma? Like whenever you have conversations or when women just give you feedback, what is something that they struggle with the most when it comes to getting over trauma?
To be honest with you, it's not getting over it, it's acknowledging it. See, because we often have that strong woman syndrome going on, meaning that we can deal with and go with everything, and we can take it and we can take it and we can take it, and we stuff down our feelings and our emotions, and we end up eating them away, or lack of eating. Because as I'm always explaining to my nutrition clients, emotional eating shows up in two ways. It shows up as you eating to heal those wounds. It also shows up when you decide that you're not going to eat because you think that's the best thing for you to do. So it's first acknowledging the trauma. Then it's secondly seeking help, getting help. Another thing that we are so afraid of is therapy, especially in our culture. We grew up, that's another form of trauma too. We grew up being told that only crazy people go to therapy. But guess what? You turn into that crazy person when you don't go to therapy. It's a combination, in my opinion, of both spiritual and therapeutic services. Not only do you want to seek out your spiritual beliefs or lean on your spiritual beliefs, but you also want to go to a professional who can assist you, giving you coping mechanisms and how you can get over some of the things that you've been through.
Oh, wow. So can you tell us how this journey actually started for you?
Well, like many of us, I've dealt with my own trauma, my own childhood trauma, my own relationship trauma, my own trauma that I've inflicted on myself. This healing journey it's not a destination. So I'm going to say this to you ladies, don't expect for it all to go away. It is a journey. So you will forever be going on this healing journey. It started for me probably, I'm going to be all the way 100, about 6 months ago. I was this was my last time being in a traumatic relationship, being with somebody who was telling me that I was worthless, that I didn't have value, that I was of no benefit to anyone. And what happened was, God showed me through so many things that I was valuable, that I was of benefit to the entire world. And my worth was for me to determine and not for anybody else. So even with my book, Dear Black Woman, I'm often interviewing and talking to people about that and telling them about that book. And in that book was actually a therapy assignment for me. My therapist made me Google myself, and she also made me write letters to myself. And I'm an author, but I'm a nutritionist. So she knows that being an author is my side hustle. And she read the letters and she said, "Can I show this to my colleague?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And she came back to me a week later and said, "My colleague wants to share this with some of her clients." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "Yeah." I told her no. And I was like, "Okay, well, why did you say no?" She said, "Because I
Right.
told her I was going to tell you needed to publish these letters in a book." And what's crazy is, in trying to show me my worth and trying to make me recognize my own value, God in turn took something that was super traumatic for me and turned it into something that allowed me to thrive, and not only see myself thrive, but see other Black women thrive as well.
That is amazing that you say that, because so many women feel like their situations cannot be turned around. They feel like this is the end, that nobody understands. They feel alone. And a lot of women, they are just in a really dark place because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to have honest conversations with people. And they don't want to accept the fact that the life they're living and whatever situations they're in, a lot of it is not going to change. And I talk about this all the time, of us being in love with the ideal of what a person should be, and
Instead
being
of
in
what a
love
person
with
is. Yeah.
yes, and being in love with what a person used to be, and not really being in reality when it comes to the person that you're actually dealing with. And there are so many things that you talk about that I just want to go over, but we don't have enough time. But you just made some amazing points, that it's different when you are just surviving versus thriving, ladies. When you're just going day by day, just barely making it, just counting the hours down, counting the minutes, seconds down into the next day. And then it's just a repeat cycle of just this despair and loneliness, and you never have energy and you don't want to do anything, and you are just in a place where you don't have any motivation. Versus when you wake up in the morning, you are thankful, there's a sense of gratitude, and you are excited about your day. And it does take time to get to that point, but you have to put yourself in situations, and you have
Yeah.
to have the right mindset, the right self-talk, and then you have to have the right circles around you in
Yes.
order to
Yes.
thrive. How can you thrive when you're constantly having conversations with negative minded people, with toxic people who are in toxic situations?
You hit it
Sometimes you
on the
have to
head.
let, yeah, sometimes you have to let old things go. And some women are in fear of being alone. Some women stay in relationships
Well,
because they
see,
don't want
we
to be
we
by
gotta we
themselves.
gotta get out of that fear, because see, one of the things you have to address is, why do you fear being alone? Where is that fear coming from? Is that coming from another traumatic experience in your life? And if it is, then you, again, like you said, there are steps to this. It's first acknowledging this trauma, second seeking help, then building a tribe of people around you. That's also what you'll learn in therapy as well. Because if you have a good therapist, your therapist is going to tell you, you cannot rely on me to be there all the time. So you have to build up those people around you that you can call. Third is redirecting that energy, taking that traumatic experience and turning it into a lesson. And then, what I'm always teaching to people, I wrote a book called 21 Days of Gratitude. And that is because it takes 21 days to form a habit. But if you're giving gratitude every day, even in your darkest moments, you're telling God, thank you for something. Even if it's just that lesson that you're thanking Him for, you are you're being grateful for something. Find three things every day in your life to be grateful for, and
I
watch how
agree.
that transforms you. Then, if you have those moments where you don't like being alone, you got to ask yourself, what is it about me that I don't like spending time with me?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I agree 100%. What about journaling? Because a lot of times when I'm going through things, sometimes we may not have the resources to get counseling, to have therapy. And then some people just have trust issues. it's one thing to think about your situation, but when you speak life and you start speaking about your situation, then it's just a different type of reality that kind of hits you, because now I'm saying these things and I'm releasing these things. And so sometimes people, they can be in fear of just having conversations.
Well,
When
let
I
me
was
say
doing,
this. With
okay.
journaling, it's exactly what you said. It's not that you're speaking it, you're writing it down. So that's the start of everything, is to get it out your head, get it from being the monster within. If you're not going to go talk to a therapist, write it down. Take a journal and write every day. Write how you feel, write how a situation made you feel, write how you see yourself in that moment. You need to acknowledge, you have to acknowledge what you're feeling. Write it down, get it out your head. Stop allowing it to control how you move forward. Because once you write it down and get it out your head, then it's no longer controlling you. You're actually in control of your emotions from that point on.
I agree. And I think women, sometimes we don't understand how powerful our mind is and how
Mhm.
powerful our thoughts are. And even if you think about something for just a short amount of time, just a few seconds, if you keep entertaining these thoughts, ladies, just these negative emotions, these negative thoughts, this negative self-talk, then it can be something small, but eventually it will become something greater, because just
Yes.
because something is small, you take a whole bunch of small things, and when you add them together, it becomes something that you don't even realize. So it's important that our mindset and our thoughts are shifted when we have these negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's generational trauma. Sometimes is, they say, a generational curses. Just depends on whoever you're speaking to. But
Yeah.
sometimes that's all we know. What, right? We were raised in it. Our family, that's all they do. Our friendships, our circles. We've never been outside of that type of environment.
Now,
So,
one
mhm,
one of my favorite sayings for women when I talk to them and they find themselves in that moment is, you can choose to be a part of the crowd that's telling you what you can't do and how you shouldn't do things and where you should be and what you shouldn't do. Or
right.
you can choose to be your biggest cheerleader and a part of the crowd that's telling you you can do this, you're better than this. And when you have those negative thoughts, you have to learn how to redirect those thoughts. You have to learn how to say that's not true. You literally have to tell yourself
I
that's
agree.
not true. That's not who I am right now in this moment. That might have been who I was, but this is who I am. This is where I find myself. This is true about me. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am worthy. I am valuable. So if you keep, and I know that they say, sometimes you hear people say utilize affirmations. I got them posted all over
I
my
have a very
wall and mirror. Okay.
Mhm.
But it's important that you understand that the purpose of those affirmations is to redirect those negative thoughts and redirect that negative mindset. So if you are in that place, take an affirmation that rebuts that and say that affirmation 3 times out loud so that you can hear those words in your own voice.
I
One of the
agree.
reasons my book, Dear Black Woman, is also on Audible, but instead of me choosing to pay somebody to record it, I recorded it myself. The reason why is because I wanted women to hear it in their own tone, in the inflections that it was meant to be heard in, so that they will understand that the words in this book are meaningful. So as each of the letters, because my book is just a bunch of love letters to Black women. Each of those letters, as I read them to you, I am giving you the feeling, giving you the energy, giving you the power behind each of those words so that you can understand that you are not the only person that has gone through things. You're
Mhm.
not alone in this. I'm there with you. We have all experienced it. We have all been there. But now we're on the other side trying to help you. It's like me, you know how they say when you get somewhere, you throw the rope back so you can rescue somebody else? That's
Mhm.
literally what we are all doing. You with your
I agree.
podcast, me with my book. We have been through this. So we're throwing the rope back and saying, okay, sis, okay, bruh, this is what we've been through. So here, let me throw this rope to you so that I can pull you out of it as well.
But one of the key things, ladies, is that you have to be willing to receive it and
Say it
not feel like
again.
you're being judged, and not feel that pride will come in, ladies. And It's just this mindset that you don't want anybody to know that you need help. You don't want anybody to know that you feel like you're failing. Even though we're going through situations, it does not necessarily mean that we're failing. This is just a season. This is a lesson that we're supposed to be learning. And then we have to look at it that way. When you walk around feeling like you are completely defeated versus this is a lesson that I needed to learn because there's a greater purpose on my life, right?
Yes.
Something that I needed to learn from this. What did I need to learn? What have I learned? And then you apply those things
Yep.
to your new seasons, to that elevation, to those new doors, because everything happens for a reason. God
You
is
got to be
intentional.
thankful
God
for
is
that
strategic,
lesson. You
and
got
nothing just happens. There's always a testimony. There's something that comes out of the heartache, out of the pain, and out of the disappointment. We just have to take enough time to sit down and think about, what exactly did I learn? What did I get out of this season? Now, when
yes.
I started to do that, life started to change, right? Because I felt guilty because of the decisions that I made. I was so hard on myself. I was hard on myself, but I wasn't hard on other people. I didn't give myself grace. I didn't have enough self-love. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I felt like I was
Yes.
a failure. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. There were so many different things going on within me. And the self-talk that other people had said to me, I gave
Yes.
those people that much power,
And you
right?
got to stop doing that.
They changed the way that I felt about myself.
Yep.
That's too much power to give anybody. Nobody
And
should have that much power over
yeah,
you.
that's what happened to me. That's why I said I was very transparent when I said this is what occurred to me with me not too long ago, about 6 months ago. So for me, I understand exactly where you're coming from. You
Mhm.
cannot allow anyone to have that much power over you. The person that should have that much power over you is you and God. That's it.
Right,
And you
right.
have to lean solely on your spiritual beliefs. You have to lean solely on God. You got to
Mhm.
understand that even when you don't love you, God loves you.
I
So
agree.
you may not be getting the physical or the human love that you think you deserve, or it's not even deserved, that you think you want. Because sometimes the type of love you think you want is not the love that you deserve. So you may not be getting that physical love that you think you want, but God has made you a child of His. He loves you regardless. He loves you through the mistakes. He loves you through the wrong turns. He
I
loves you through everything.
You
So
better
as
say
long
it. Yes.
yeah, so as long as you acknowledge that and know that you are loved, you always have the power to pull yourself out of whatever situation you're in. We have to choose to lean on our spiritual beliefs. We got to know that God loves us. We got to know that even when man doesn't love us or man doesn't give us the love that we want, that God is giving us the love that we deserve. We also have to look upon what we keep saying, those negative thoughts in those dark times. You got to find that lesson. You got to be grateful for that lesson, because just like they say, the sun comes out after the storm. You got to know that on the other side of that dark day, there's going to be light. There's going to be another morning. There's going to be another day. There's going to be something else there that is going to give you the love, the power that you need. And you cannot, again, you can choose to be one of them naysayers that say you can't, or you can choose to be your biggest cheerleader, one or the other. You can't be, you got to be, it's not no in between. You got
I
to
agree.
say, this is what I want. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And you just got to keep manifesting and keep going and keep moving in that light. And you got stick with your prayers. Go to your prayers, write down. I'm actually working on one of my another book called Turning Your Testimony into Trauma, because I have a publishing company. So now instead of me writing books and I'm helping other women turn their trauma into their testimony. I said turning your testimony into trauma, but turn their trauma into their testimony.
Testimonies.
And
Many.
that book is going to be a free ebook, but it comes with a journal. And in the beginning of that journal, what it says is, it says, you can choose to publish this or you can choose to just heal yourself. But by the time you finish this book and by the time it's over with, you would have released all of the things that were traumatic in your life so that you can move forward in a different way.
Wow, this is amazing. And I never actually thought about that, lady. So she's saying that there will be a book and it's a journal, but once you finish this journal, you can actually publish it and this can be your testimony. So many of us feel like our stories are not worthy to be heard, and they are. Even if you change the life of one person, even if you change the mindset of one person, it all matters, ladies. The things that you've been through, the heartache, the pain, everything matters. And it's just very important that we start to realize that we are worthy of having an amazing life. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes when you start to change your mindset, the way you talk, a lot of people, they will say that you're acting funny. They will have different comments because you are not running in those same circles.
Yes.
People are your friend as long as they feel like you are on the same level. Once you
Misery
start
loves
taking
company. Remember that.
and people, they will start to change. You have some amazing points on here. Is there any way you can give the ladies your social sites so that
Yeah,
they
I'm
can reach
all
you?
over social media. Like I said, I had to Google myself. You can Google me as well, Cami Red, and it'll take you everywhere. On Instagram and Facebook, it's Cami Red, the number 4, and the word life, LIFE. So Cami Red for life. On
Okay.
TikTok and on YouTube, it's just Cami Red. And I also have a website. My website is www.camired.com. That'll take you to my emotional wellness stuff and to my nutritional stuff. But I also, my publishing website, which is Red Ladies, REDLADYS, which actually stands for Refined, Empowered, Dedicated, and Determined to Love and Desire Yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
It's redladies.com. That is my publishing site. So all of my books, all of my services when it comes to publishing or even helping others self-publish can be found there as well. So I'm all over.
Okay. So is there a scripture or an affirmation you want to leave the ladies with today?
You know what? I'm gonna read. Can I read something from my book? It'll be a
Yes.
short one. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this one is called Forgive Yourself. Okay.
Okay.
It
Okay.
says, Dear Black woman, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It's not about excusing the actions of others, but about feeling yourself from the burden of anger, freeing yourself from the burden of anger and resentment. Forgive for your peace, for your healing. Let go of the pain and allow yourself to move forward. You deserve peace. Holding
Mhm.
on to anger and resentment only harms you. It keeps you tied to the past and prevents you from fully living in the present. Choose to forgive not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Let go of the weight you've been carrying. Now, forgiving yourself is just as important. We all make mistakes, but they don't define us. Learn from them, grow from them, and then let them go. You are worthy of forgiveness and love. Be gentle with yourself and allow yourself the grace to move forward with a light heart and a peaceful mind. With love, me.
Oh, wow. That is beautiful, ladies. You can find Cami Red. She's gave you all of her social platforms. If you feel that your story could be a testimony, or if you just want to do some inner work and journal to get, you have to have a way to release those emotions. It's very unhealthy to keep all those things inside. Even if you don't have anyone to speak to, writing things down, they can change your life. Again, my name is Demira Virgil. I am your host of Kweenduhm Conversations podcast. On this podcast, we empower women one podcast at a time. You can find me at queenduhm.com. I have the Queen Tribe. We are a group on Facebook. We are some wonderful ladies who are striving to live our best life. And Kweenduhm Conversations also on Facebook. Thank you all so much, ladies. And until next time, again, thank you, Cami Red, for coming
Thank
on
you
this
for
morning.
having me.
I'm gonna have to bring you back because we don't have enough time. We could talk about things all day, but I really feel like the ladies, they will learn a lot from this. So thank you again. Bye, ladies.